Interesting topic today we are going to discuss, that is how the direction of the circuit controls the coupling uh, or the sign of the coefficient of mutual inductance. Basically, we will try to investigate how sign of M depends on the circuit direction. Now, this sign of M, actually, sorry, I'm suffering with cough and cold, so if any, there may be some other noise in the channel, so please continue with this video lecture. So, first of all, you have to understand and you try to imagine a situation where your circuit is having only generating device or an energy source is connected with only one side, like only your transformer in no load condition. In that case, you are free to assign the positive direction of the currents. Arbitrarily, you can assign the positive direction of the current, because actually in alternating current there is no such positive and negative really exist in the reality. What does exist is that at one instance, when one wire is carrying an incoming current or outgoing current from a device, then what are the nature of the current that are flowing through the other terminal. Suppose one terminal is carrying incoming current to the device, then what about the other? The other terminals, if they are open, then no question or no point of continuing discussion on them. But if they are connected, the other terminals are connected, then what is the direction of the current? Whether that is towards the device, or it is means out from the device, or means it is flowing from the device or the connected transformer, if we consider it is flowing from the transformer to the outside load. Now, one more thing here we have to understand, that in a given circuit, whether our means voltage of mutual inductance, what is the voltage of mutual inductance? Voltage of mutual inductance is M di1 dt. This is will get its effect in the second circuit, and similarly for first circuit we will get M di2 dt. Obviously here we are assuming that the reluctance, or rather permeability of the flux path is constant for both of them. Now so what is that? Now what I was trying to tell you, let me explain it with a diagram. Like just a minute, let me insert a picture. Yeah. So here what we can see, that we are having one in determining the sign of this one, this M di2 M21 di2 dt. Yes, M21 di2 dt. Now, every time we have to analyze the relative direction and positive, negative, whatever, everything means first you have to select one direction of current to be a positive direction of current, and then you have to analyze and think about, or means not think, rather you have to means identify or tag other currents, so whether they are flowing means in positive direction or negative direction. It is like your KCL, like while means application of KCL, if you consider, you yourself arbitrarily determine the direction of positive current, and then you means assign the other currents. Means obviously sometimes there are a few thumb rule you can follow, but it won't cause any harm if you assign any arbitrary direction of current. But once you is tag one type of current, like if you tag the current that is flowing away from a node is positive current, then you have to tag all other currents that are flowing away from any node to be the positive one. And similarly, if you tag incoming current towards a node negative, then you have to means follow that means convention for tagging other currents. Now, here that if you see this example, it is very interesting. Here you can see the way this phi21 is flowing. Now see, this is the generator. Only one generator or only one energy source EBA is present. Now if you consider circuit 1, in that circuit 1, the way current is flowing, and in the as the same both the circuit means, if I am considering this small circuit, just a minute, where is that black ball point? Yeah. So I am considering this as our circuit 1. So whatever current at any instance, if current is flowing in this direction I1, see I2 is flowing in this direction, right? Now here what we can see, that if we change the direction of the winding, like here we know that Ampere tip rule for finding out the direction of the magnetic field intensity produced by a current carrying conductor. So here if you just alter the direction of that will change the direction of the magnetic field intensity, and if you change your H, then what will happen? It will obviously cause a change in your B. B is equal to mu H, right? And both of these are vector. Like if you change the direction of H, then that is obviously going to change the direction of your B. And here this mu, we are considering this mu is permeability is constant, so we will consider that both side H will face means if we reverse the H, then it will automatically reverse B, so the flux direction will change. Now try to understand why this circuit direction is so important. Like here we are showing a particular arrowhead, and for that when we are considering the EMF induced due to this mutual flux phi21 in your circuit 1, then do remember the induced EMF also depends on how your flux phi to 1 cuts or links your primary side or circuit 1 winding. If you alter the winding turns, then even for same direction of flux linkage, your induced voltage will be induced, is there you can change it, right, the direction of induced EMF. And as it is, you can see it from the picture that it is very clearly shown the direction of current that is producing phi to 1. And here what we can see that both the voltage, like the minus L di1 dt, the induced voltage due to self-inductance and induced voltage due to mutual inductance, they are opposing each other. Like when minus L1 di1 dt is trying to oppose your inflow of current in circuit 1, inflow of current towards the winding in circuit 1, the induced EMF is trying to assist the flow of the current, and that is very interesting. Like means if you somehow place or somehow arrange a mechanism in this circuit that would break this coupling between circuit 1 and circuit 2, then you will be able to reduce the amount of I1 actually. Why? Why the amount of I1 will be reduced? Because there will be no minus M21 di2 dt that will oppose your minus L1 di1 dt. This minus L1 di1 dt is actually the amount of flux that is trying to oppose your inflow of current towards that winding. Now, if that minus L1 di1 dt, that flux is getting weakened by that, means the and weakening effect is there due to this minus M21 di2 dt, what you will have? You will have more inflow of current, more I1 is required to ensure that the total thing, that minus L1 di1 dt can dominate minus M21 di2 dt. So, the relative modes of winding of the coils involved here and their physical placement, both are very important. So, what I am trying to say that what are important is physical placement of the coil, and in addition what is required? Okay, and for the time being, let us consider only the physical modes of the coil. Now, just a minute. So, the biggest confusion that we have here is like how to determine the sign of M. Like here, how to show the sign of M is positive or negative. The simple answer to this question is that you have to do one very simple thing, that if the flux we can say that or not flux. Let us go to mode root, towards mode root. If the current in circuit 2 increases or not increases, let us write assists or supports MMF produced by, if the MMF produced by the current in circuit to assist or support MMF produced by circuit 1 current, then M is positive. Otherwise, M is negative, right? Now, one question I would like to ask here, that do you think this L is the, in case of transformer, is the leakage reactance or it is not? So I would like to hear from you once you watch this video. I would like to hear the answer from your end, right? Just let me check. So here instead of showing this kind of complicated diagram like circuit 7 and you manually try to find out that what is the direction of current, how the flux is being produced, whether the MMF of circuit 2 is assisting circuit 1 or MMF of circuit 2 is trying to oppose circuit 1, what we do, we go for dot convention. What is that? What is the dot convention? Dot convention is like, yeah, so this is a case of dot terminal. Here you can see that this incoming current, we are marking them with dot. Like if the upper terminal of the primary side or that left side marked with numerical 1 is carrying current with its upper terminal, and we at that time instance the lower terminal of the secondary circuit will carry an incoming current, and we mark them in that way. So this is a very common practice, and it is been carried out for many years. And the marking of any type of iron core transformer or instrument transformer, the dots are generally placed so that a current entering to the dot marked terminal of any coil will produce a magnetomotive force and corresponding flux in the same direction around the magnetic circuit. So previously I told you in a very layman language, in a very nice way, that two current terminals, at a same instance we mark them the current entering terminals, but this is the most complete or means most formal way to make it understandable. What is that? That is if you suppose your second point in there is no connection, it is open circuited. Now your only primary side or side 1 is connected, right? This side is connected. Now if this side is only connected, then MMF will be produced by current of circuit 1 only, and that MMF will cause a flux. The direction of MMF you can find out using right hand tip rule, and that MMF will produce a flux means circulating through that court, rectangular court. Now here, while marking for terminal 2, we have to select the dot will place at that point where if we inject current, suppose your means winding 2 is having 2 terminals. Now you have to select that terminal through which if you inject current, then it will means assist or support or boosts up the MMF set up by your primary winding. Whatever MMF was there set up by your primary winding should be means it should give a boost to that existing MMF, and that is how we find out the dot. Now what we can see more. If you want, I can also write it here, like what I was trying to tell you. I know you people are quite impatient and don't want to listen so much. Right. So now I would like to show you a few example diagram. I am not drawing any diagram because drawing a diagram, whether I record it, that will cause an unnecessary waste of time, and Even if I do not record it, but still it is an hand drawn one, it will not be quite clear, or means I cannot draw it like a printed diagram, so it is better to import some image from the book. Now let us see another few typical type, like here I can here, yes. Now here see that these dot marks in the first one, if we consider the first circuit, the dot mark is like, if you allow flow of current in one circuit, the flow of current in the other circuit will oppose that, means like you must try to understand that even if you means connect two different current sources in opposite direction, so what will happen? The two different current source will try to means with the two terminals, or means if you have difficulties in understanding that two different current sources, even if you take a simple voltage source and connect across this coil shown in figure 9, what will happen? Some current will flow. Now see, the amount of MMF produced by coil 1 and then amount of MMF produced by coil 2, they will oppose each other, and that is why we will get minus M. And if we have a connection like this, when in circuit 11, what will happen? In circuit 11, both are, means circuit 1 MMF is assisting MMF produced by circuit 2, and circuit 2 MMF is produced by MMF of circuit 1. So in that case, it will be like M will be considered as plus. Now the biggest question here is that, or the most important question, not biggest, the most important question here is that one is figure 9 and figure 11 are almost look alike, because there is no such visible difference we can spot in figure 9 and figure 11. Right, but what we can suggest that the way figure 1 and figure 2 are wound in figure 9, coil 1 and coil 2 are wound in figure 9, and the direction of coil 2 with respect to coil 1 in figure 9 is exactly the opposite of the direction of winding in figure 11. The way we wound the coil in figure 11 is exactly opposite direction, that is in the figure 9. If you have confusion, you can always ask me question, because this is the most important thing that we should understand, and once we understand this, then everything will become very clear to us, right? So in today's video we will discuss what is the polarity of a transformer and how what are the different types of polarity we can have. We can have two different types of polarity. one is additive polarity and the second one is subtractive polarity. So what is additive polarity? Additive polarity is like what is the transformer we discussed in our exact equivalent test. It is like having additive polarity, and the transformer that we have discussed for our approximate equivalent circuit was like it is having subtractive polarity. And if you remember, I always mentioned during my previous video that the direction of current only depends on the how you move your winding on the core. It doesn't depend on anything else. Now this H1, H2, generally we use H1, H2 to mark the high voltage of the high voltage side, and generally what you can observe here that if you take a planar view of your core, H1 should be in the right hand side of that transformer, means you are viewing it. So H1 must be in the right hand side terminal, we term that H1, and the left hand side is at H2. This is our high voltage winding. We mark high voltage winding using these where is that? Yeah. This is our HV side and this is our LV side. So here you can see this is H1 and also here it is H1, but depending on the nature of the polarity, in the secondary side you can see the different position of X1, right? So if H1 and X1 are diametrically opposite, like here you can see, here it is H1, here it is X1, then it is additive polarity. And if H1 and X1 are on the same side, then it is subtractive polarity. Now the question is that how can we test the polarity of a given transformer? So polarity of a given transformer, we can test it like by inserting some just let me show you using another diagram. Yeah, this is the way we can, if our polarity is not marked, then what we can do, we can perform polarity test in this way. Like if we are having a 2:1 transformer and if this side is having 220 volt and this side is 110 volt, then we know the voltage rating of the transformer, but polarity mark is not known to us. Then what should we do? We should short one end, like if it is we know this is H1 and this is H2, but we are not sure whether this one is X1 or this one is X1, right? X1 and X2 are not, we are not sure of X1 and X2, but what we can do, we can connect the H1 with its similar terminal of secondary side, we short it, right? And here we apply the full rated voltage or any voltage you can apply, not 220 volt, if you are hesitant you can apply even 550 volt also. Then by virtue of 2:1 ratio you will get same how much is 27.5 volt approximately across your secondary side, right? Then what you will see, that if your voltmeter. These are MI voltmeter, moving iron voltmeter, because this is AC current. So we have to use MI voltmeter. If this voltmeter reads, a 55 plus 27.5, that is 82.5, then clearly it indicates here if it is H1, H2, then here it is X1, this one is X1, this one is X2. So this is an example of additive polarity. But if we observe that this one is showing like or even you don't have to measure the exact voltage also. What we can do, let me tell you one more simple approach. You measure the high voltage side voltage by connecting another voltmeter here. Now you even do not know what is the turns ratio. It may be 2:1 or it may be 5:1. So in case of 5:1, you should get how much here? You should get here 11 volt. Now accordingly, instead of 82.5, this will become 66 volt. Even you can have any voltage ratio, but what is we are pretty sure that if let us call this as V1 and this one as V dash. If the reading of V dash is greater than V1, then it is a case of additive polarity. But in case it gives you something less, like if the reading of V dash, this one is V dash, if the reading of V dash is smaller than V1, then it is having a subtractive polarity. Even you do not have to check whether it is giving you the exact value of, means 2 voltage are getting added or not. Only thing we need to check, we have to connect 2 voltmeter, one across the high voltage side, one across the between the high voltage and low voltage side as shown in the diagram, like V1, and then we have to just check whether the V1 V dash is the voltmeter between the high voltage and low voltage side. If we get V dash reading that is connected between high voltage and low voltage side is greater than the V1 reading. V1 is the voltmeter that measures voltage drop across high voltage side. Then we can consider this is a case of additive polarity, and if V1 is less than V dash, then we can consider it is a case of like V dash in the reading is smaller than V1, or V dash reading is, say, in case of subtractive polarity, what you will have here, in case of subtractive polarity, you will have X1 here, it will become X2, and what you will have here, you will have 55 minus 11, that will give you 44 volt. So this is the way we can test polarity of a given transformer, right? Now we will solve a small problem. So what is asked in this question? Here the question is that a 400 volt, 200 volt, 200 volt, 50 hertz 3-winding transformer is connected as shown in the figure. The reading of voltmeter V, we have to find out reading of this voltmeter. So here we can see that what is the amount of voltage will induce here. It will be 400 volt, right? So voltage across this winding will be 400 volt. So this winding will be 400 volt. Now if you consider these two windings, they are in additive polarity, but what is the voltage drop across them? It is 200 volt, 200 volt, and if you add these two 200 volt, what voltage drop you will get across this? It will be total 400 volt. Now if you subtract, but see, if we redraw it, it will become a transformer like this. It will redraw it, it will become a so what this voltmeter will read here? This voltmeter V will read the difference between the two voltage, that is 400 minus 400, that is 0 volt. So we will get 0 voltage induced across the winding, right? Let me share another example if possible.